today?
We're fine.
Okay, I'm happy to hear that. Since you are fine, that is a sign that we are ready for our interesting topic. But before that, we're going to have our opening prayer led by our co-facilitator.
Okay, may I requesting everyone to stand up for our opening prayer. And bow down your head. Our most gracious and heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for the wonderful day that you've given to us, and give us knowledge and wisdom for our demonstration this morning. We will explain it clearly and they understand it, Lord. And before I close this prayer, may you pardon our sins. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Amen.
Here we are, Kolb'S survivors, what we are. Here we are, Kolb'S survivors, what we are. We are one. We are the survivor one. We are one. We are the survivor one. Oi, 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 oi. We're better move. We better think. Let's make this days. You will remember. You are the one. You won't forget. Survivor!
Presenting the intended learning outcome by Genevieve Gillingan.
To present to you our intended learning outcome, or ILO. So the first one is, at the end of the lesson, the student will be able to create an illustration that shows the flow of a Kolb'S experimental learning cycle and explain each of the stages. Second, identify the 4 Kolb'S learning styles and its learning modes and make a strategy for teaching. Third, enumerate the 4 Kolb'S learning environments and give example or scenario in classroom setting. And the last, present the conceptual schematic of Kolb'S learning styles, modes, and learning environments.
Classroom Management by Lee Jane Serrell.
I will tell you our classroom rules. So, when the teacher is talking in front of you, so what you're going to do is you have to listen attentively. So, if the teacher is give you an activity, so what you're going to do? You can participate actively.
Reviewing the lesson by Gerwin Imperial.
So, class, what was our topic last meeting? Yes, sir?
So, our topic last meeting is all about Kolb'S moral development theory.
Okay. Since you understand our previous lesson, today we can proceed to another lesson. So today we're going to talk about, please read.
Students' diversity learning styles.
Okay. So this lesson will focuses on the experimental learning cycle of David Kolb. So by the way, who is David Kolb? David Kolb is an American psychologist who developed the Kolb's experimental learning cycle, or what we call the Kolb's learning style. So what is a Kolb learning cycle? So Kolb learning cycle is a 4-way process wherein the students or the learners can learn through their experience. So meaning learning by experience. So it provides also an insight that it also shows how a person can reflect their experience. So today, we're going to talk about the 4 stages of Kolb learning style by our activity.
First activity, mini ride of carousel.
But before that, let me ask you, who wants to ride a carousel?
Me!
Alright, since you have to experience the carousel, then I will let you to ride our carousel. So our carousel will serve us, so our carousel will help us to know the 4 learning styles of David Kolb. So as you can see, there's a information sheet over there. So all you have to do is, every group, you must have a representative to come here in front, and then you will pick the information. Okay, any representative? Okay, pick information. This one. That one. Alright. Next one, you ma'am. Get information from the horse. Right. Okay, next. User. Get information from the horse. And the last representative. Yes, ma'am. You didn't get the information. Okay, class. I will give you 3 minutes to explain by your group the information that I given, and then 2 minutes to present for the. Okay, time's up. Okay, I think all of the group are done with their presentation. Now let's hear on for the group 1.
So, we have here the question, create an illustration that shows the flow of Kolb's experimental learning cycle and explain each of the stages. So, we have here a cycle illustration. We have active experimentation, concrete experience, then followed by reflective observation, and lastly, abstract conceptualization. So, active experimentation, it is all about planning or trying out what was learned. So, through experiment, we can observe what was really happening. And second one is concrete experience, which is doing or having an experience. So, as what Mr. Pio Sernal said, that learning by doing, so experience is the best teacher. And reflective observation, so reviewing or reflecting on the experience. So, through observation, we can gain also knowledge that we can use also in our living. And lastly, abstract conceptualization, which is concluding or learning from the experience. And that's all.
Okay, thank you. Okay, clap your hands for them, please. So as I said earlier, you need to react the presentation of the group, right? So now you can react the presentation of the group. Okay, so the group 1 got 55 points. Clap hands for them, please. Okay, next. So now let's hear on for the group 2.
So, create an illustration that shows the flow of Kolb's experimental learning cycle and explain each of the stages. So, first, we have here a cycle: active experimentation, concrete experience, reflective observation, and the last, abstract conceptualization. So, active experimentation, so it is planning or trying or out what was learned. And then concrete experience, so it is doing or having an experience. And abstract conceptualization, reviewing or reflecting on the experience. And last is reflective observation, so it is concluding or learning from the experience. And that's all.
So thank you so much, group 2. Now you can react the presentation of the group 2, please. Okay, they have a wow, they have the heart, and they have the like also. So clap your hands for them, please. And next, let's move on to the group 3.
Okay, the question is, create an illustration that shows the flow of Kolb's experimental learning cycle and explain each of the stages.
So, this is the flow of the Kolb's experimental learning cycle. So, first is active experience. In this cycle begins with a concrete experience like planning or trying out what was learned in doing or having an experience. Then next, reflective observation. The learner stays back to the reflect on the task like reviewing or reflecting on the experience. Then abstract conceptualization, concluding or learning from the experience. The last one is active experimentation. So this cycle is the testing stage like planning or trying out what was learned. That's all.
Okay, thank you so much, Group 3. Again, you can react the presentation of the Group 3, please. Okay, thank you so much. 55 points. Clap your hands for them, please. And now, let's proceed for the Group 4.
The question is, create an illustration that shows the flow of Kolb's experimental learning cycle and explain each of the stage. So, active experimentation. So, learners return to participating in a task, and the concrete experience is, this can either be a completely new experience or reimagined experience that already happened. Reflective observation. This stage is the learning cycle allows the learner to experience with others, and the abstract conceptualization is including of learning for the experience.
Okay, thank you so much, Group 4. Clap your hands for them, please. And then you can react their presentation. Okay, they got 45 points. Clap your hands for them, please. Okay, so now you have learned the four stages of Kolb's learning cycle, right? So there are the concrete experience, reflective observation, abstract conceptualization, and active experimentation. So in a concrete experience, it is a time wherein you have to do or having the experience, and then followed by reflective observation, wherein you're going to review or you're going to observe what you have experienced on that situation. And the next one is the abstract conceptualization, wherein you're going to conclude or you're going to decide wherein you're going to follow or you're going to decline the experience that you have. And the last one is the active experimentation, wherein you're going to plan or you're going to do the experience that you experience. And today we're going to move on to the learning styles and its learning modes.
Activity to What Did the Bird Get? By Gineville Gillingham. Charlemagne Dinopal.
Okay, once again, good morning, students.
Good morning.
Okay, since you already know what is the learning Kolb's experience, so now let's proceed to another activity, which is the learning style and learning modes. So I have here a owl. So if you want to know what is the learning style and learning modes, all you need to do, each group will select one representative to come in front to get their information that's gathered by the owl. So now I need the representative to come in front. Okay, in this activity, I will give you 5 minutes to do your task and 2 minutes to present your output. Your timer starts now. Okay, time's up. Okay, I think the group 1 are ready, so present your output.
So our question is explain convergent and of learning styles and its learning mode, then make a strategy for teaching. So convergent style of learning is a type of learning with people. It focuses on practical issues wherein the style are based on finding practical issues or ideas and theories. And for our learning mode, we choose active experimentation, wherein convergent style of learning is coming closer together, especially in characteristics or ideas. So it's all about closure within your peers and your classmates. So through active experimentation, the students within a group able to discuss certain topics, and then for our strategy, we choose group discussion. So by the use of group discussion, we can collaborate with our peers and our rivals, so that we can share our ideas and also we can learn by it.
Okay, thank you, group 1. So each group, you may now react for their presentation. Okay, the group 1 got 55 points. Okay, let's proceed to the group 2.
So, question. Explain divergent of learning style and its learning modes. So, divergent
Divergent learning style as creative and brainstorming, social interactions, and perspective taking. And while the divergent learning modes reflective observation and concrete experience. And that's all.
Group 2, you have a brilliant idea. Okay, now each group, you may now react for the group 2 presentation. Okay, they have a 35 points. Okay, let's proceed to the group 3.
Explain assimilative and create a learning mode and strategy for teaching. So assimilative is selecting learning. Reference is for a concise logical approach. Ideas and concepts are more important than people. And assimilating learning style are less focused on people and more interested in ideas and abstract concepts. This learning style people is important for effectiveness in information and science career. So their learning mode is building theoretical models and emphasis less on people and more on ideas and concepts. That's all.
Thank you for group 3 for that wonderful presentation. So each group, you may now react. Okay, the group 3 got 55 points. So now let's proceed to the last group.
The question is explain the accommodative of learning styles and its learning modes, then make a strategy for teaching. So the accommodative is the learning styles is hand-on and relies on institution rather than logic. So the first strategy is visual learners. So these learners prepare visual aids such as charts, diagrams, and images to understand and remember information effectively. And the second strategy is the kinesthetic learners, which is learned by doing and experiencing their proper hands-on activities like experiments and practical application to conduct science. The last strategy is differentiated instruction. So in this is providing options for students to choose from based on their learning style. So that's it.
Okay, thank you so much for the group 4. So now you may now react. Okay, the group 4 got 55 points. So now to further understanding about the learning style and learning modes, may I call on to my co-facilitator.
Okay, good morning class. So since I've observed your activity this morning that you are always answering questions which the learning styles, the accommodative, assimilative, divergent, and convergent. I'm so proud of you that you are all answer the questions that fit to our questions that will get given to you.
Activity 3, Feathers in the Peacock, by Christian Morrow, El Lago.
Once again, good morning class. I am Christian Morrow and I will be handling this morning an activity which is the activity 3. And the activity 3 names the peacock. So together with my partner here, we'll handle this activity. So all you have to do is to choose a representative to your group and come in front to pick the feathers of the peacock. So that feathers contains a task the task is called the Kolb'S learning experience. So I will give you 5 minutes to do the task, and your time starts now. Okay, time's up. So since the group 1 has already done their task, so let's see their work.
So our task is to explain perceptual learning environment and give example or scenario in classroom setting. So we have here the definition of perceptual learning. Perceptual learning occurs through sensory interaction with the environment as well as through practice in performing specific sensory tasks. The changes that take place in sensory and perceptual system as a result of perceptual. So through our perceptions and the use of our senses, which are the eyes, the sense of seeing, hearing, smelling, and tasting. So through our senses, we are able to learn within our environment. And the example of this scenario is, for example, if you have piano lesson within your musical teacher. So by the use of your senses, like for example, your hearing senses, you are able to hear what are the notes that given by your teacher. It is high, low, or middle, and that's all.
Okay, very good. So let's see the reaction of the group one. Okay, guys, let me see your reaction. Okay, the group 1 got 55 points. Let's go on to the group 3.
Okay, the question is, explain behavioral learning environment and give example or scenario in classroom setting. So behavioral learning environment. This learning environment emphasizes active application of knowledge or skills to a practical problem. For example, a teacher gave a task to the students to write all article about the discussion.
Okay, guys, please react the group 3 word. Okay, the group 3 got 50 points. Okay, let's see to the group 4.
The question is, explain a symbolic learning environment and give example or scenario in the classroom setting. So, a symbolic learning environment is a type of learning environment that utilizes symbols, representations, and abstract concepts to support learning and understanding. So, in the classroom setting, this is the scenario, the mathematics using symbolic learning environment. So, a mathematics teacher wants to create a symbolic learning environment to help students understand algebraic expressions and equations. So the goal here is to provide a visual representations and symbols that aid in conceptualizing and solving mathematical problems.
Let's react the group 4 word. Okay, the group 4 got 55 points. Very good.
Since you already know about the Kolb'S learning environment, I have given an additional information about the 4 stages of learning environment. The affective, symbolic, perceptual, and behavioral. So affective, the students actually experience what it might be like to be a professional in a given field of study. Then symbolic is the learners should involve in trying to solve a problem for which there is usually a right answer or a best solution. So the first perceptual is the main goal is to identify and understand the relationship among the concept. And the last is the behavioral. It emphasizes actively applying the knowledge or skills to a particular problem.
Generalization by Lee Jane Searle.
So now let's proceed to our last activity. So my co-facilitator will give you a little paper to do the conceptual map about the Kolb'S learning style. So all you want to do is to connect the four Kolb'S learning styles. So now I will give you a 5 minutes to answer and 2 minutes to present your work. Time is up, so let's proceed to the group 1 to present their work.
So this is the work of group 1. So conceptual schematic of Kolb'S learning styles, modes, and learning environments. So it is important to note that for each learning style, there are 2 corresponding learning modes. And for each learning mode, there is corresponding learning environment. As Kolb and Fry 1975 suggested, each of the 4 learning environments is supportive of a particular learning mode with its accompanying learning styles. The symbols learning environment best supports the abstract conceptualization learning mode, which is part of both and convergent and assimilative learning styles. The perceptual learning environment is the most effective environment for the reflective observation learning mode that is part of the divergent and assimilative learning styles. The behavioral learning environment best supports the active experimentation learning mode, which is part of the convergent and accommodative learning styles. Finally, the affective learning environment is the most effective learning environment for a concrete experiences learning mode, which is part of the divergent and accommodative learning styles.
Okay, so let's proceed to the group 2.
So our task is to make a conceptual schematic map. Then, as we have here that in every learning styles, there are 2 learning modes, and then one learning environment for a specific style. For the convergent learning style, we have here 2 modes. One is abstract conceptualization, and second one is active experimentation mode. And for the environment, we have symbolic learning environment. And for the accumulative learning, we also have active and abstract conceptualization mode. And the learning environment is effective learning environment. And for the divergent learning style, we also have 2 learning modes, which are the reflective observation and the concrete experiment. And for the learning environment, we have behavioral learning environment. And lastly, for the assimilative learning style, we have 2 learning modes: the abstract conceptualization mode and the active experimentation. And for its learning environment, we have perceptual learning environment, and that's all.
Okay, so let's proceed to the last group.
So this is the work of group 4. So the first convergent learning style, and second accumulative learning style, and divergent learning style, and assimilative learning style. So it is important to note that for each learning style, there are 2 corresponding learning modes. And for each learning mode, there is a corresponding learning environment as Kolb'S and Fry 1975 suggested. So each of the 4 learning environments is supportive of a particular learning mode with its accompanying learning styles.
Okay, so thank you everyone. So let's give a terrific clap to everybody. To everyone. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, terrific. Since we already done the schematic of Kolb'S learning style, so let's proceed to our evaluation. We have 4 questions about. We have 4 questions. They're up here, and then you can answer in one whole sheet of paper.